So yes, so let's start with the graphics. So this game is very much built upon the VC1 base. They improved a lot of the details on things, so I like that a lot. They improved the environments. Like a lot of people who said this game looks the same as VC1 have kind of like forgotten how primitive VC1 looked. Like I love VC1, but the game is very, PS3 like. There's the ground is usually one flat texture. There's no objects on it. There's very little detail on things, and they really tried to squeeze out detail in the uniforms, but it was very limited at the time. This game, there's no like bloom or like filtering. It's just the game straight up. It does a really great job. I feel like even though they improved a ton of the graphics, like for instance, in the first game, you could not render fire at all. Like fire would not render. You guys should really see what fire looked like in VC1. It looked like ass. It looked like ass cheeks. They couldn't even render it at all. And but in this game, you actually have flames. Amazing. Holy shit. Next gen, guys. I think they were like trappings of the original game that like made it hard to upgrade, but other than that, I feel like they did a really great job. We have rain effects, we have snow effects, we have like snow powder effects, snow deformation. Yeah, it's all great. If I had criticism, it'd be like, one, this game is 30 FPS. I don't know why it's 30 FPS. Like even with the graphics the way they are, I don't get it. And like the resolution is like mysteriously low. And some things, like not in everything, but like on some things it's kind of strange how low res some things are. The textures are probably the biggest offender. Like some of the enemy textures are really low res, and I'm like, really? Like, is that really how it should be? I don't think it should look that way, but whatever. I'm looking at the grass. The grass res is also like, the grass resolution is like worse than Breath of the Wild, which is like an accomplishment. I just find that kind of weird. I didn't have any like slowdown problems. When grenades hit the dirt, the game slows down, but that's intentional. It's supposed to slow down for a dramatic effect. The only mission I had trouble with in terms of frame rate was the one mission where you fight Chimera and Bolts at the same time. That mission was like, every time I got like within Chimera's blizzard range, the game slowed down. So yeah, I wonder if this game is not fully optimized all the time, which is probably why they went 30 FPS, but yeah, so that's my review of the graphics. Alright, so the UI of this game. Alright, so they cleaned up a lot of the UI from the first game, but there's a lot of shit which is kind of frustrating, which I don't understand why it is the way it is. Here's one. So here's the character viewer, right? It's all gravy, right? Well, there's no wraparound scrolling. It might seem like a petty complaint, but I don't know why it's like that. There's no wraparound scrolling. And to make things even weirder, when you go into a character, you can't scroll from character to character while in a submenu. Which is weird. Like, you'd think that'd be the most natural thing in the world. It's like the first thing I tried to do, but you can't. You can't switch it out. Also, the camera controls are kind of wonk for this thing. It's like a little too fast almost. Yeah. Anyway. Like, other UI stuff is like, let's see. I have a list here. Let's back out of here. Whenever you go to headquarters, and come back, or whenever you load a save, right, the game kicks you back to the story chapter. Now, you guys remember, I just came from a skirmish, right? Well, I finished the skirmish, I go back to the book, and it kicks you back to story. I don't get it. Every time you load a save, every time... Oops. My bad. Like, here's skirmish, right? Yeah, save. Okay. If I were to load that save, it would kick me back to story mode. It's weird as hell. But it's really frustrating when you're like trying to like replay a skirmish, and it's like, well, guess what? You just went back to headquarters, so back to Riley's smiley sunny face. Yeah, it's kind of bonkers. The other UI stuff I hate is, alright, the big one. There is no way to tell whether a mission is finished from the chapter select. So if you're looking at something like this, like, you don't know what rank you're looking at here. The only way you can tell is to go directly there, which isn't too big of a problem, or to go to your room. But this creates a bigger problem. Like, turning a page takes like 4 seconds. Watch. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. It's about 3 seconds. So, and there's a lot of pages. It just takes a while. Like, Christ, it takes eons. Especially bad when, like, I unlocked Minerva's mission at the end, but it didn't say, like, new mission on here. It just kind of popped up. There's a little bookmark, but it doesn't tell you where exactly the book it is. So you find yourself, like, paging through like this, like a jackass. Like, look at that. It's like, it's almost 3.5 seconds per page. Doesn't make any freaking sense. Alright. Just the way of finding unlocked missions and new missions is so fucked up. Like, you might unlock a new chapter, but you can't see the mission yet, so the mission doesn't show up in your list. It's so messed up. I was like, I had beaten the game, and I was like, why is I have the S rank trophy? Like, I S ranked everything. I looked in the list in my room. What's missing? I had to go to the fucking wiki and, like, confirm shit. You should never have to do that for something so simple. And the last thing I hate about the UI in this game is that no mission tells you if there's an ace in it. And it doesn't tell you if you've killed the ace, unlike VC2 and VC3. So what you'll have to do is, if you want the ace trophy, you have to cross-reference your weapon list with the wiki. And it's not always easy to do that. So, it's just a huge pain in the ass. I don't know why they changed it back from VC2 and VC3. It's weird. Just tell me if there's an ace. It's okay. It's perfectly fucking okay. Also, aces should be colored differently than the regular units, but that's another small thing. Oh, I have one more complaint. I don't know. This is kind of a legacy thing from, let's turn this down. This is kind of a legacy thing from the last game, but in order to access an order in this game, you have to open a submenu. And the problem with that is, to open a submenu is like counterintuitive to the rest of the game. So most people who play this game, both this game and VC1, forget that they have orders. They totally fucking forget. They absolutely forget. I've watched so many Twitch streams where people just completely forget they have orders. And not just like any Twitch streams, but like, you know, RPG fan or RPG site. These guys totally fucking forget that orders are in the game. And that's kind of Sega's fault. Orders should be a one-button thing from the map menu. It shouldn't be in a sub-menu. To drive this home, if you go to the trophy list, let's see here. Let's see, let's read. More people have beaten the game than used 15 ship orders. That is messed up. That shows you that most people don't use them. Alright, 44. 50, not bad, not bad. Okay, that's better. It's slightly better stat, but it could be higher. It could be way higher. I unlocked this like early on too. Look, 325. This game unlocked in 321. I unlocked that trophy like in my second day of playing. It shouldn't be at 44%. It should be like 80%. What order was this anyway? Oh, it doesn't tell me. Thanks for the black screen, Sega. Yeah. That's messed up. It should not be in a submenu. It should be a one-button thing. Oh, and the really last complaint. That stupid cutscene with the tank coming out of the ice in the final mission. Why I couldn't skip that is the weirdest thing in the world. Yeah, that was dumb. That was really dumb. Okay, now that I talked about the little shit, let's talk about the big shit. the big shit. The gameplay. Alright, so the gameplay. This game is basically VC1 with a built-on huge foundation, styled up and polished big time. They basically polished the fuck out of it. That being said, some mistakes remain. They're not major mistakes, but there's some mistakes that remain. First off, restoring the old headshot bonus to be 3.5 is... I don't like it. Alright? Because how accuracy works in this game is, you have an orange circle, right? And when you fire your gun, you kind of roll a dice on every shot. And if your dice rolls up good, you get a shot right down the middle no matter what. So what this promotes is going for the highest damage weaponry at all costs. Right? Because criticals are so important now. It's kind of crazy. And it makes scout weapons, and it makes a lot of the R&D kind of useless. You guys saw me testing earlier with the mortar, trying to blow up that guy in the base. It's like, oh, I can fire 2 mortars and with a slow-moving unit, or I can take a scout, grenade, and headshot. And I get more AP out of it, I get more ground out of it, and I complete the mission faster. Like, I don't get it. Like, it shouldn't be 3.5. It should be 2.5 like VC2 and VC3. Actually, VC2 was kind of shitty because the defense of enemies was so fucking low, it didn't even matter about headshots. I should just say VC3. Yeah. What else? A lot of the shock trooper weapon upgrades are pretty useless. Multi-shot doesn't really help you very much. The Grenadiers are so much fun to use. I'm really glad they added those classes to the game. That shit really expanded the horizons. It really adds a lot of dimension to the game that wasn't there before. Lots of fun. I'm glad they added that shit. That's probably the most fun part of this game, Grenadiers. Launching a missile from a guy when he can't see your ass is the most satisfying thing ever. Fuck you, aces. Your 70 evades doesn't mean shit when you can't see where I'm shooting from. Assholes. A lot of fun. And I think the number one question that people will ask when this game comes stateside is, does scout rushing still work? And what my answer to that would be no, but there's a different kind of rushing which works on only a few missions. Because the objectives in these missions have changed so much, and have, a lot more variance, like just picking a scout in your first try and going wild, never going to work. But with shock troopers and defense orders, you can cheese things. And that's kind of disappointing. Like, when I did the first hard skirmish, even though I was under-leveled, I managed to defense boost a shock trooper and get him the whole way to the flag. And if I had looked around a little bit, tiny bit more, I would have gotten the ace too. That happens on like 5 or 6 main story missions. I guess the gist of things comes down to this. Shock troopers should never have defense potentials, ever. Just like in this game, they removed all the anti-interception potentials from scouts. Removed them entirely. They're not there anymore. Only Savaria has it, but Savaria, I don't know, stuffs anti-interception in her boobs or something. Okay. Yeah. So, but just like scouts shouldn't have anti-interception, shock troopers should not have defense boosts. It's messed up. You give a defense boost order, then you stack a defense boost potential, then you have Laz, who has like 300 health at the start of the game, and he can just go fucking buck wild. Thankfully, though, mitigated by mission objectives. Man, mission objectives are so varied that you can't rely on just one unit to do everything. You have to have people around you all the time. When I finished these missions, I had an engineer with me almost every time, just because saved my ass, and that was probably the major reason why I S ranked almost every mission on the first try. I had an engineer to keep me going all the time. Something tells me when people play this game in America, they're not going to do that. They're going to forget that engineers can revive people, and they're going to get stuck a lot, especially in these big ass maps. You can't forget that engineers can revive people. What else about gameplay? Oh yeah, I should mention that. So another thing I disagree with, even though it's not that big of a deal, I don't think any unit should be able to heal each other or themselves other than engineers. Like, If you fuck up with a shock trooper, you fuck up with a shock trooper. What else? Yeah, I really like the buffs that engineers got in this game. Engineers are really questionable in the first game. Very limited use. Just not something you saw at all. But in this game, engineers are used quite a lot. They're very useful. You can cheese the fuck out of the enemy with those guys. When you get them to elite and they have 800 AP, they're basically like awesome scouts. They pick you up in a pinch. As you guys saw with that expert mission I just finished on stream, that Rita, the engineer, literally got me the S rank. Literally. Rosie goes down. I pick her back up again. I fix some sandbags. I reload Riley. All that stuff contributed to the final mission victory. And I hope that when people play it here in America, they realize that. Engineers are really fucking good in this game. What else? I also really like the fact that they didn't introduce like overpowered weapons in this game. They have overpowered units, but they cost 2 command points to use, so there's an efficiency loss. And because they can't capture flags, and usually mission objectives don't include like just capturing the flag, like these overpowered units are actually not so overpowered. Stacking orders is still really good, but that's fine. Like if you want to stack orders, go ahead. I mean, stacking really good orders because it's expensive. So if you want to turn a unit into a god unit by burning 7 command points, be my guest. That's totally fine by me. What else I want to mention here? Let's talk about orders. Yeah, orders are really good in this game, but they're not broken anymore. They totally removed the anti-interception order caution. It's gone. It's totally gone. Penetration and critical strike are still in the game, but they're not broken. What prevents you from abusing them? Basically, the best orders in this game are expensive. Like, if you want to do demolition boost, that's 2 command points. And 2 command points is expensive in this game. You want to summon a unit immediately, 2 command points. You want to hit everything critical for everything, 3 command points. So what prevents you from abusing them is once you use them, you have to be really sure that whatever you're doing is like a plan that's planned far ahead. As you saw in that last mission, I stacked some orders on Rosie, and it was bad because I didn't plan ahead properly, and I got wrecked. Yeah, but stacking orders, I guess the really broken orders in this game, not broken, sorry, the strongest orders in this game come late in the game. Like, you don't get them until, like, you are close to the end game. So it's not too big of a deal. At that point, there's not much left to abuse. Most of the things that you think that you'll discover are probably not going to be things you discover, so like you won't discover broken strategies by stumbling across them or whatever. What other gameplay stuff I want to talk about here? Oh yes, the direct command thing. That's really good. I like that a lot. One of the biggest problems with VC1 that nobody mentions, that is a really big problem, is that the low AP units, like, you want to use them, but they get stuck at your base. Like, and it would take too long to have them run up to you and your position. It just takes too long. Lancers or like snipers, you can't do it. It's impossible. And engineers had like 500 AP or something bullshit. And yeah, but with direct command in this game, you can bring the low AP units to the front lines. And with that, you can actually use a really fun strategy of breaking through enemy defenses using units that wouldn't normally take part in the fight. It's very nice. It's very nice. What else here? Gameplay stuff. So in VC3, they would tell you how many turns it took to get S rank. In this game, they don't. And I guess I'm okay with that because if you know how many turns it takes to get an S rank in this game, then you get an idea how to strategize, which is bad. Like, you're going into a battlefield, you shouldn't know everything. But they should tell you there's an ace. Really, they should tell you. That's so messed up. Alright. Let's see. Is there any other gameplay stuff I want to talk about? What's funny is I think 325 is when I first started playing this game. and I unlocked this trophy like right away. Direct commands, man. Let's see. Gameplay stuff. I really like the special tailored missions where like you couldn't abuse like high stats. Unfortunately, in a lot of the character missions, like they don't adapt to your level. So if you don't unlock a character mission until like late in the game, you'll just overpower everything with brute force. Pardon me, please. All right, there we go. Which is kind of lame because you don't feel like you're getting challenged and you feel like you're cheating. So the Squad F mission where everything's like specialized and whatever, that's more fun than, or like Jenny's mission that was pretty tough even with strong units. Yeah. The Squad 7 DLC was really cool, but I was so strong that I didn't feel challenged, so it was kind of like lame-o potato. Let's see here. R&D I talked about. I didn't feel like there was enough like branches that were useful. Like scouts. Scouts have accuracy, a mix between accuracy and damage, But after only like the first few chapters, I was like, only damage works. I look at shock troopers, and the multi-shot rifle is bad for defense. Well, at least, well, maybe I have a bad idea of that. Well, the damage, how the shock trooper R&D is accuracy, basic mix between accuracy and damage, and then number of shots fired. All right, and I didn't really experiment enough with the number of shots fired when they have an opinion on it, but I didn't really see a need to use it because the higher shots one has less range than the rest, and range as a shock trooper is pretty important. With the 3.5 critical headshot bonus, you really want range with the way accuracy and headshots work in this game. So that's why I don't like the 3.5, man. I just don't like it. It feels off. I don't think a scout should be able to kill a shock trooper with 3 shots to the head. It should take 4 shots. It should be risky. So for Lancers, you had accuracy, damage, and then mortars. But as you guys saw with mortars, I couldn't really make them work. Like, if you want to use a mortar, you might as well use a grenadier, right? And there's no point in putting accuracy on a Lancer because you'll almost never come across a situation where, as a Lancer, a tank has its back facing towards you from far away. It never happens. What happens is you run past a tank while it's shooting at you, get behind him, and then blast the radiator. You never need accuracy. So once again, there's only one skill tree that's worth investing in. Kind of lame. For snipers, you had high range and accuracy, the mix between range, accuracy, and damage, and then the last one is damage with number of shots. And I feel like they did a good job with this one, with the last two, mix between range and damage and number of shots, because number of shots is really useful against like turrets of multiple kinds or like crouch shock troopers. You can just mess them up. 1,000 range is pretty good. There are very few missions where 1,000 range isn't good enough. So I think they did a pretty good job with sniper rifles. Grenadiers have, if I remember correctly, it's, let me think about this here. We have accuracy, and then we had damage, low accuracy. So low damage, high accuracy, high damage, low accuracy, and then anti-armor. And the anti-armor tree for a grenadier is really good. All right, especially once you get to the later upgrades, when it gets to A rank accuracy, really good. Like, I kind of wish I had used it more because it's really strong. I didn't feel reason to use the high accuracy grenadier because the damage just can't keep up. The damage one is really strong too, so that's not a problem. The rest of the upgrades are more like, just stuff that you upgrade per level to make you feel like you're becoming stronger RPG style. So no comment on things like armor, grenades, or flamethrowers. Flamethrowers are really strong in this game. They're pretty much a requirement, just like VC1. Tanks. Tank upgrades are pretty like by the book. There wasn't anything too like out there. I will say this. Your tank is still too strong in this game. But basically, the problem with VC1 was that your tank was so strong that nothing could kill it. Nothing. Unless you could use your tank to tank a heavy enemy tank and just not care in VC1. It was totally crazy. But it cost 2 command points. So nobody used it for efficiency purposes. In this game, it costs 1 command point, but the problem with the tank in this game is, 1, it's too strong defensively, and 2, because there are so many obstacles in your tank's way, there's so much shit that can stop your tank and make you waste turns that you don't want to use the tank anymore. Nobody wants to fire up the tank, get hit immediately by an anti-tank grenadier that you can't kill because he's hiding somewhere, and feel like, fuck, I can't use this thing at all. It's it's done for. I can't. It makes you demotivated. Final mission, I'm playing that shit. I move the tank forward 10 feet, bam. Oh, I just wasted a command point. Now I can't move my tank until I kill both the grenadiers, get rid of all the anti-tank mines, and hope there's nobody pointing a lance at their fucking back. By the time I've done all this, I've wasted time. And wasted time is the worst thing in this game. What they should do in a future game is make the tank weaker, put fewer obstacles in front of it. Okay. Yeah, I should be able to tank less. Tank less, but move easier. Also, there isn't much point in restricting my tank ammo when I can upgrade it almost immediately. I was able to upgrade the number of mortars I carried a third of the way into the game. It was a joke. And having a smoke grenade is severe overkill. If I really wanted to break this game, I would have fired the smoke more. The smoke is so strong. It's so fucking strong. I was already strong enough. I didn't feel I said I left the tank mostly at the base, so yeah, no chance to abuse smoke. But smoke is so fucking strong. What else we got here? Training field. The leveling system in the training field is kind of antiquated at this point. At this point, I don't really feel the need to scratch the chalkboard again. It can just be leveling up, with a cooler animation or something. It felt kind of annoying after a while. I don't have any complaints about the actual leveling though. I much prefer leveling by class than by soldier. So much more. I never want to go back to VC3 or VC2 leveling ever again. Never again. VC2 leveling was so terrible. I don't even want to remember it right now. In VC3, I activated a fucking cheat code, so I went to deal with that shit. That's such bullshit. Come on. Leveling in an RPG should be alright, I got this moment. Not oh my god, I have to grind for 5 hours bullshit. Alright. What other... Cool. I really like that the enemy tank from Volts can kill you while he's moving around. That's the kind of fangs I want to see on the enemies I fight here. And I really like the fact that Lancers can team attack now. That was the most fun buff for early game in this game. Lancers team attacking. They couldn't do that in VC1. They can do that in this game. Hilarious. I don't know if you guys saw it, but in one mission, chapter 13, I think, I moved the Glory up, moved a Lancer, moved Hoffen, moved another Lancer, and I did triple team attacks over and over on a tank until the Volts tank died. And even though I didn't get the ace, I thought it was worth trying because it looked so funny. Yeah, Lancers team attacking is a really big help. And even though Lancers are still kind of hard to use in this game in terms of efficiency, adding that team attack buff was a really big bonus. That really helped a lot. Snipers team attacking, it's not so much that I object to the idea, it's just I never saw a need for it. And because I never saw a need for it, it's actually a waste of ammo most of the time. They only have 3 shots. I don't want snipers to waste ammo team attacking with me, but there's no way to reject a team attack. So Kai wasting ammo on team attacks that nobody needs is pointless. If this game didn't have the 3.5 modifier, it'd be a different story, but yeah. Alright, is that all the gameplay stuff? Let's go back. The annoying chapter select. Is that all the gameplay stuff? Yeah, the Valkyria units in this game, they're definitely overpowered. They can't die, of course, but inability to capture flags and 2 command point per use is actually a really great way to balance them. Like, yeah, you can kill everything in your path, but you might run out of turns before you get anything done, which is bad. Let's copy something. Oh, I almost forgot something important here. So, to unlock character missions in this game, you need to have all 3 of the units in your squad, and you need to use a unit 40 times in the squad. So if you look here, well, not you guys. Okay, we have Rebecca, Maybell, and Fleur, I think her name was, right? I got Rebecca to 40 uses, and then it unlocks their character mission. However, I don't like that. In VC1, how it worked was you gained points based on the actions you took with that character. So, if I took my engineer and I killed a unit and I captured a base, right, that would be 6 points. And then all I needed was like 10 to unlock all their shit. It was nice and efficient. Just use them. Use the unit. But here, it's like 40 times. So what ends up happening is, once you reach endgame and there are characters that you haven't, like, unlocked their character mission, you just stand in place on an easy skirmish, select and select and select and select and it's like, the fuck is this? This is so stupid. Like, it wouldn't have to be this way if you just made it more simple. 40 is too much. And, oh, my last complaint before I shift topics. When you unlock Crystal at the very end of this game, when you revive them with money, revive them with money in the graveyard, like, she has the rank of Corporal, so you think that she's an already finished character, but she's not. She's not finished at all. You have to use her 40 times. It's a mess up, Sega. She shouldn't be Corporal status if she's not actually Corporal. Just saying. Okay. One thing I want to mention is in this menu here, if you go down here, this option lets you speed up the enemy turn. It says normal and fast. I think speed in Japanese is kizoku. Sokudo. Never mind. Anyway, enemy turn speed. So I hope people who play this game in America realize that this is the way to speed up enemy turns, which is nice to have. Very nice to have. Okay. That's it for gameplay, I think. Let's talk about the story. That's the last part, guys, the story. Okay. I really like the main characters in this game. They're all fun characters. They're great. Like, Claude isn't some, like, wishy-washy self-insert character. He's a cool dude. You know, he's got some inner fears and some, and he makes the bad call sometimes, but ultimately I really felt like the characters were all believable and fun. Laz's voice actor is godlike. I should say Raz. Raz's voice actor is godlike. It was so much fun. Like, I was going to do it myself. No, Raz, you idiot. Get back here. Hilarious. Alright. Riley's like, get him. Fun stuff. And Kai is just like, I can't believe I had to hang out with you punks. Just a lot of fun, really. And Minerva is great. Minerva is probably the coolest new character. That whole speech to Claude where she's like, hey, stop saying that you're no good. Stop saying that I'm better than you because it's a lie. And you disgrace me when you lie to me. Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, I know that does suck, yeah. Yeah, Minerva is a fantastic character. I think this is the scene where Minerva tells Claude off here, like, stop acting like you're inferior because it's disrespectful. one thing that's kind of surprised me in this game is that it didn't really play up any of the Darkson conflict at all. So every VC game so far has really played up like the, you know, people don't like Darksons, people are discriminating against Darksons. You know, Darksons aren't allowed the last name and all that. But in this game, you know, pretty much everybody likes Raz. You know, nobody talks shit to Laz's face or discriminates against him. The only time that ever happens is when the Squad 7 DLC with Rosie talking bad about him, but she calls him a dirty Darkson, and he calls her a fat ass, which is hilarious. Yeah, so but yeah, the story beats are great. Remember this dude? He gets hanged by the populace for consorting with the enemy. Whew. Hardcore, yeah. All the story beat stuff is great. Crymeria is a nice departure from Selvaria. You know, Selvaria is like the super confident, I know everything I'm doing, I know exactly why I'm fighting. You know, I'm on the battlefield to die for the Emperor. You know, very serious, totally focused. And I think they saw that and they tried to make a character that was the complete opposite of Selvaria. And the complete opposite of Selvaria is an emotionally unstable, very depressed person who doesn't understand anything and doesn't even understand why they're fighting. And I think they nailed that perfectly. You know, I think when this game comes stateside, that people are going to complain that Crymeria is like a big crybaby, but like, I think that's fine. I think that's part of the character. Like, she is depressed. She is sad a lot, right? You were trapped in a lab and had no friends other than a pet wolf. Like, you'd be pretty sad too, right? She's freaking out at Selvaria because she doesn't know like anything about what it means to be normal or anything. She's just messed up in the head, man. And depression doesn't help either, right? I mean, like, not every single Valkyria can be like a cool cat character that's awesome, you know. What else? Oh, Volts. Volts, I really liked his tank shenanigans, but that's right. She beats the fire tank guy. Volts is a smooth talker. He calms her down. You know, like, you don't have to be depressed. I'm here for you. You know, I'll be your emotional support. Leave it to me. I like that. That's a good thing. I think people are going to complain about that, sadly. I think people are going to say something like, you know, oh, you know, she can't recover herself. She has to rely on a man to do it for her. But I think people who say that do not understand, like, emotional vacuums, like depression. Like, you know, in that situation, like, it wouldn't matter if it was a guy or a girl. Like, as long as she has someone that she can kind of, like, normalize her thought processes a little. Sorry, how do I say this? Stabilize her? Yeah, stabilize her emotional state. It's fine. Right. Volts, I had a lot of fun with some of his dialogue and his tank actions, but he didn't really leave a strong impression on me as a villain. He wasn't like I can't remember his name. Was it Sieg in VC3? VC3's story is superior, but Goes in Giltz? I can't remember his name. Crap. Yeah, but yeah, he didn't leave a strong impression on me as a villain. Crymeria left a stronger impression here. And Belger was too much behind the scenes for me to like really appreciate him as a villain too. I think maybe they spread their villainy too thin. How could I forget Nicola and Kiara? Those guys were great. Best comedy villain duo 2018. Oh my god. I don't think they meant them to be totally humorous, but the facial expressions were too godlike. Where's some of the capture gallery here? Okay. No, not this one. Do it. Where are they at? Oh, did I not take a screenshot? Oh, I didn't take a screenshot. That's too bad. But basically, funniest facial expression is 2018 easy. Yeah, those characters are great. It's too bad that they both of them died, even though, and I kind of wish I had a chance to fight against them more during the main story. Like there was one, but it was kind of like a joke against them, like it wasn't serious. I was pretty proud of myself that I was able to apply my VC1 through VC3 experience and take down those guys during the battle, especially with their high evasion. I think people are gonna, I think Americans are gonna run into trouble with those guys. I think people are not gonna understand why they dodge so much and how to like really pull off the anti-evasion stuff, and they're gonna get frustrated. But I knew all that shit, so I was able to mess them up. Attack boost and Zyger and blast him right to the back of the head. Do a team attack, and those guys were even more toast. Yeah, great villains. Belger didn't really. He is cartoonish villain for sure. He was more political throughout the game than on the field. You know, I didn't really feel his influence, and I didn't like his final boss fight either. The final boss fight, more or less, is Batomi's. It's Batomi's, and it has a kind of a frustrating hitbox problem I don't like. I like the idea of chasing a tank around on the ice, but I don't like the idea of all the radiators closing like that after each shot. I would have preferred it if it was just one big radiator you just shot once and then got knocked off. Because with one big radiator with a lot of defense. Because, yeah. Like, if you compare the final boss fight in this game to the VC3 final boss fight, it doesn't measure up. You almost want to cheese it. Story stuff. Yeah, I really like the themes of this story. The final cutscene where he pulls the lever on the atomic bomb, so to speak, and he talks about how, you know, is this a war or is this a slaughter? Like, we came here to fight a war, but we didn't come here for, like, indiscriminate slaughter. Yeah, it's a good message, you know. Especially when the Empire surrendered. He got lucky there. Because if the Empire hadn't surrendered, he probably would have been forced to pull it, which is more or less the argument around atomic bombings back in the day, you know. Which is a long ass argument. Also, people might complain about Angelica, the little girl who's actually an energy source for the ship, who also acts as an explosive, massive, humongous nuclear explosive. But I don't know. I didn't feel like she was like offensive or annoying or anything. What else? Yeah, I felt sad for Anne when she got into the fuel console and hooked up. Feels bad, man. Let's see. What else about this? So that's all the stuff I liked about the story. The story is great. It's compelling. You feel really bad that Lass has to die, but he dies in a very cool way. You know, you feel like he didn't. He died his own terms, and you felt sad for Kai who lost. Oh yeah. Oh, it's a dual audio game, so you'll be able to use Japanese voices. Yeah. I was worried that Riley was going to die at first, but it all worked out. Alright. Let's talk about what I didn't like about the story more accurately here. Alright. So, quite a few cutscenes in this game. The dialogue is just really inefficient, and I don't like that. I feel like they could improve it. I thought VC3's dialogue was more efficient than this game. This game has a lot of inefficient back and forth dialogue. There's one scene where Claude is talking to the enemy commander, and the back and forth is so, like, elementary Japanese. I'm like, really? Like, oh, you know, once we understand each other, we don't have to. The fighting is not really necessary. Oh yes, I agree. You know, we've met common ground here. Yes, I hope in the future that we can talk to each other on common ground here. Yes, you know, here I'll give you this weapon here. I'm like, Jesus, compact that shit. Like, you're using like 20 lines for when it should be like 10. Like, it happens way often than it should. That's also one of the reasons I like Minerva, because she's so no nonsense. She doesn't waste any words at all. She's always efficient all the time. Other things I didn't like about the story. All right, so the one major one, and this is kind of like maybe nitpicking, but So there's one scene where Forze is like, I must rescue you, my Angelica, in front of the vault door, right? And Kai's like, don't do it or I'll shoot. And I'm like, Kai, this guy is unarmed. He has no weapon. He's also lame in one leg and he's hopping around on a crutch because he can't run fast. Just grab him. Tackle him. Yank him back by the collar. He has a huge collar. Grab it. There's no reason to shoot him. What's this whole dramatic scene about shooting him when you don't have to shoot him? It'd be a different story if he had a gun, or if he had like his hand, if the door was almost open or something, but he wasn't even in front of the door yet. He was like, I'm coming in, and then like just bam, Kai shoots him right in the heart. And then not only that, his death scene is ridiculous. This guy lies on the floor for like 10 fucking minutes, like bleeding out. I appear to have been shot. I will now tell you my whole life story. 10 minutes later, I'm like, Jesus, we could have fucking extracted that bullet and wrapped you up like a mummy by the time you were done yapping your mouth. Like, that doesn't work, Sega. That's just bad storytelling. It's just bad. It's bad. The second thing I didn't like was, I think here, the scene with Riley going in and like trying to rescue Ange out of from exploding, so to speak. So she gets shot in like the side and like fucking crawls to the vault and like is lying on the floor. Blood is just spreading. All right, Claude gets in there, hooks them both under one arm and just yanks him out of there, all like American Commando style. Fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? And then he has her on top of the tank and he's trying to escape. He finally gets off the ship thanks to a stroke of luck. And then like Riley is like there bleeding on the tank to death. And he's like, goodbye, Centurion, for all your service and everything you've done for us, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, Jesus Christ, Claude, your girlfriend is literally dying right in front of you. Hand her off to the medic and then salute the ship, you jackass. What the hell is this? I was bothered as fuck by this. You can see everything. She is passed out from the blood loss. I'm like, Jesus Christ. But why? I know it sounds like nitpicking, but that shit bothered me. Other than that, though, is there any other story stuff I didn't really like? I don't think so. Some inefficient dialogue, especially in the side character stories. Inefficient dialogue is rife. They really gotta clean that shit up. For the next game, anyway. People tell me that's the way Japanese people speak, but I don't think so, bro. Let's see, I like the Centurion ship. Is there anything else I particularly like? The scene with Lever was great. Great scene. Yeah, I like the crew of the Centurion a lot. They were great. Fantastic. Submarine the ship here. I wonder what happens to this cutscene if characters die. I have curiosity. Can't exactly view it. Also, the number of times at the end of the game... Oh, the other thing I forgot to mention. The number of times the enemy boards the ship is kind of bonkers. For the door that cannot be opened. You know, they bust in here a lot and try to open this damn door. What can I say? Alright, are there any other comments to make? Is that it? I think they did a pretty good job. So for VC5, I really hope they seriously look and try to like refresh things. But if there's going to be a VC5 that happens, it'll happen because we in America and Europe buy it. And Canada, sorry, forgot about the Canadians. but not because of Japan, because I think Japan has abandoned Valkyria, so to speak. The Switch version will be interesting to watch. Actually, I bought a Switch recently.